Joan, and it's my pleasure to be here to show you what we've done in America, which we're trying to undo now, because we started so many processed foods, and that's what our Rugelach has become, but they're really delicious. Okay. First of all, what I'd like to do today, if that's okay, is I'll tell you a little bit about Rugelach, the story of Rugelach, and we'll cook. Rugelach comes from the Yiddish, which means a horn or a, what do you call it? Crescent. Or crescent. And the story goes, and I question the story, that in 1683, when Jan Sobieska, who was the head of Poland, came with the Viennese emperor and defeated the Turks at Vienna for the Austro-Hungarian Empire. They created a croissant, the French croissant, which really was only developed in the 19th century. And they developed these horn cookies. I don't know if any of you have ever had these butter crescent cookies. They're so delicious. When I was, and I will be wandering, just like the Jews are wandering. When I was press attaché, foreign press attaché to the mayor of Jerusalem, I first tasted them. These wonderful kupferlin. And they were crescent-shaped cookies and were delicious. He was actually not really Viennese, but he always said he was Viennese, Teddy Kollek. He was actually born in Czechoslovakia, although I just looked in Wikipedia last night and it says he was born in Hungary, but I swear he said he was born in Czechoslovakia. Anyway, his wife used to make them, and they were just delicious, melt-in-your-mouth butter cookies. So, Rugelach came to the United States and to other countries, and it wasn't very well known at all. It was rolled, first of all, it was originally yeast dough. And if you look at a lot of the old cookbooks, they're yeast doughs. And they were served, they were par. And of course, we have them as, at least that I like to make them when they're not par, they're dairy. And then there was a man in America named Joseph Kraft. And Joseph Kraft bought Philadelphia cream cheese. And this is in the early 20s. And Joseph Kraft, who loved his cream cheese, it was the beginning of using advertising. So he had these contests every year, and he would ask people within the Jewish community to give him recipes, because he suddenly realized that Jews liked sour cream, he also liked sour cream, and they liked cream cheese. So he had these ads, and not only ads, he had Yiddish-English cookbooks. A Pillsbury cookbook, Yiddish-English, a Crisco cookbook. He wrote on the Crisco cookbook that Jews had waited 4,000 years for Crisco. That was and these were and they were in Yiddish and English. When it came to Joseph Kraft, he would take his cream cheese and he had cheesecake. Now, in 1929, there was a World's Fair, and Lindy's won with their cheesecake. And every year thereafter, Joseph Kraft would say the best cheesecake, the better cheesecake, the most wonderful cheesecake, and he would add little things to the cheesecake. And it was the same thing with Rugelach. So that Rugelach hasn't made it everywhere, but let me tell you how it's made it in the United States. So people started making it with cream cheese. And the way that it got popular in the United States was, I think, two ways. The first way was from somebody named Maida Heater, who was a very well-known cookbook writer, and she was Jewish, but she wrote recipes for all kinds of food, not just Jewish. She didn't talk about Jewish food, but the most popular recipe in her great book of desserts was her Rugelach. So there are all kinds of Rugelach today in America. It has become so, no one knows that it's a Jewish word, nobody knows that it's Jewish. First of all, Costco, do you have Costco in England? They make Rugelach all over the country, good Rugelach, hard Rugelach. There's, what do you call it? Savory Rugelach with chutney, with tapenade, with pisalier, all kinds, goat cheese, There's rugelach. There's even a sweet red bean rugelach. There's even Cajun rugelach, and there's bacon rugelach. So let's say you have a Hanukkah celebration. And this goes, it's either parve, or it's dairy, or it's meat. You always have rugelach in some form. It's become like, you know, a Hanukkah dish. And it's also, the people will have kugel, they'll have brisket. I mean, you know, and some of them that are not kosher will do it together. It's like the hit parade of Jewish dishes at Hanukkah. And they're very often potlucks in the United States. Okay, so let's get this started. We start with, it's very easy. It just takes time to do it. So you take two cups of flour. So here's this is a little bit, I think ours is a little bit richer, but it's fine.
Would you use Philadelphia?
I would use Philadelphia, or I would use the generic brand. But you know, you can also use ricotta, and you just want it to all blend, and it will be just fine. I mean, this is one of these cookies that you can't really make a mistake in, and you'll get a lot of points. We'll send this around, and you'll see how soft it is. You get it as thin as you can with a little bit of flour underneath. You want to make a circle. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle. Put the butter on, or the margarine if you're going to use make butter. And then, let's see, what do you want? You want cinnamon and chocolate, or cinnamon chocolate, or it doesn't matter. Apricot jam. Let's do apricot jam and walnuts. You can do whatever you want. As I said, you can do bacon or fake bacon. Okay, so then what you do is you just, I'll do two kinds, roll them up. You start like this. I maybe put a little bit too much on, but it's okay if it drools, you know, makes it just better. And then I'll do a small one. And if you want to make it really pretty, then you would glaze the top with an egg wash, or what I'm going to do is sprinkle them. Then you bake them in the oven. What was the 350 is what, 180?
175.
175. And then I do it for 16, 16 slices. And then what you do after you bake it, either you can do it like this. I happen to like the texture, so I might put it more with regular sugar. It just depends on what I want to do. But you want to, either you want to make it, put an egg wash on it, or sprinkle something on it. And we are sprinkling something on here. So we'll pass these around. You can decide yourself what you do.